Hi, how's everyone? Welcome. Thanks for coming back. And hello and welcome. If you're new, I'm glad you found me. Today we're looking at the moon, the full moon. It's called the sturgeon moon. It is in Aquarius, in tropical astrology, and in sidereal, it's in Capricorn, right? Yeah. So we're going to look at it together because I'm trying to lean more towards into the sidereal side of things. That's the one I lean towards anyways. So when we take it together, the moon being in Capricorn and Aquarius, this is us looking at how we feel about what we're leaving behind for the future generations, not just our own family, but our standing in society and what we're leaving behind for the future society at large. Aquarius rules groups of people in large groups. Okay, not so much one-on-one relationships. The all the air signs deal with some kind of relating to people, whether ourselves with Gemini, with other people one-on-one with Libra, or other people in large groups with Aquarius. So with the moon being in Capricorn and Aquarius, we're looking at how we feel about what we're leaving behind for society in the future. Okay, mind you, this moon energy only stays in each sign for about 2.5 days. So this is something that's going to be fleeting, but I wanted to address it because a lot of the other readers are keeping in the schedule of things and addressing the moon. Not only that, but it is the coinciding with the 8-8 Lionsgate portal. And we did do a Lionsgate portal reading from yesterday, and it was talking about, again, that hard work that we're putting into things, but not forcing anything, and being able to walk away from things that aren't either emotionally fulfilling anymore, or they're not really building what you had thought they were, you had intended to build when you started. So now we're continuing in with the moon, looking at how we feel about what we're leaving behind for the future. So what I did was I went in, we're using the Gilded deck by Ciro Marchetti, and I pulled the moon and then the card behind it and the card in front of it. And the card behind it is what we're looking at in the emotions. The moon wants us to look at what we keep hidden from the ego, which is the sun. So, the way these laid out is behind the moon, we've got that Five of Pentacles. In front of the moon, we've got the King of Cups. What this was saying to me is that we have to address our feelings of inadequate care and support. Okay, Five of Pentacles is a lack mentality, and with the moon on top of it, this feels like a lack in emotional support, in emotion addressing things, in being seen, being heard, being fulfilled in this emotional side of yourself. We've got the Five of Pentacles, which is loss and lack. The good thing about the Five of Pentacles is that they are outside of their own sanctuary if they just turn and look and actually go for it, and open the door and go in. The help is there. So this feeling of lack and hardship could be at an end if we can address that we're even feeling it. On top of it, we've got the King of Cups, and that's Pisces energy, also ruled by the moon in tarot sometimes. This could be Saturn in Pisces. We've got Saturn here behind the King. The King of Cups, the masculine of Pisces, is in an interesting position because he has fathomed those depths of the deep ocean of the emotions, and he's come back, and he is now in a position of being master of those emotions and not their servant anymore. And that's the position of the King of Cups, somebody who has the experience of feeling very deeply about things, but also being in a position of control over those feelings. Okay, so if this is like Scorpio energy, this is very deep. A Scorpio is very deep feeling, but they allow it to rule them. They go and they are they are tousled in the tumult of the waters that they are in. They allow it to affect them. And that is positive because it creates transformation. But here with the King of Pentacles, I'm sorry, not Scorpio energy, Pisces energy, the final water sign. This is control of that environment. In order for it to serve you and not for you to be its servant. So somebody here in the collective, there is an underlying feeling in the collective of trying to get a hold of what you're feeling, because you're tired of there being temper and conflict in things, even within yourself. So there could be conflict with people around you in what you're trying to achieve for the future. And you're feeling kind of abandoned here because of this Five of Pentacles underneath the moon. But that moon energy also indicates that you're keeping it to yourself. And not only keeping it to yourself, but you're denying that it's like, I don't have time to feel this. I can't feel this right now. And there's even this feeling of judgment under here, that you're afraid that others will judge you because you're feeling these things, and that it won't look good to who you're trying to take care of. That's what I'm hearing. They kept repeating it, and I couldn't figure out how to describe it. There's a feeling that if you address the emotions underneath, that you're going to be disappointing someone I feel younger. But not addressing these things is not allowing the king to actually get control of them, because you can't control something that you deny exists. Okay? That's what I'm feeling with this. Bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Swords. There was heartbreak here. We've got the Fool. Maybe there's heartbreak because there wasn't an opportunity taken. And then we have the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands. What was this telling me earlier? Some in the collective are actually going to be empowered by having to let this go, because it's going to free you up to come back around and go into something else with the Fool energy here. And you're going to go into it in that Knight of Wands energy. It was very enthusiastic. Knight of Wands, I believe this is Leo energy. So this is good. This is good ego. Leo is a very strong ego. Okay, so this I feel is good ego. This is bravery. This is courage. This is fortitude. This is optimism. Okay, going forward from the Fool energy after this heartbreak. I might want to get a little more on that heartbreak here. Let's go like this. So I hope you guys can see this. Let me put this down a little bit. Can you see this? Is that better? Alright. So yeah, we've got up here what we're dealing with. The King of Cups on top of the Moon, which on top of the Five of Pentacles. That lack mentality here. The abandoned feeling I was getting earlier was that whatever was being created is being abandoned. Again, Pentacles is something very tangible. This is something you can hold, something you can make, something you can buy, something you can provide. This is the only manifested item in the tarot. Nothing else is tangible. So this is something like dropping, I don't want to say dropping a burden. I'm hearing that I keep hearing, I just want to give it up. I want to give this up. I don't want this anymore. So they're putting themselves in this lack energy. And it's going to hurt because we've got that Three of Swords here. But they know that it's the only way to get freedom to move on to something else. That Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is also to me a little bit Sagittarius energy, so I keep hearing that song, The Wanderer. And but in this case, it's not wandering for no reason. This is just movement, okay? So that's what we're being asked to look at with this moon cycles in sidereal Capricorn, tropical Aquarius. Okay, what we're leaving behind for the future, and there's some underlying feelings in the collective about leaving something behind, but being in an in-between time of lack and heartbreak because you're empty still from pushing something out that didn't belong. Now you're a little bit empty. It's like weeding in the garden. When you pull out the weeds, there's gaping holes in the soil. And it looks really bad, and it looks like it was violence that the weed was pulled out. um, so this Five of Pentacles, Three of Swords here, to me feels like that in between time where there's still that gaping hole where you pulled, um, you released something that wasn't working. Okay, so there's that feeling of lack and heartbreak, but right after that you've got the Fool and the Knight of Wands. So it's like literally taking on something new. I like the Fool energy here because the Fool also guides us to go forth with no baggage. Okay, he carries nothing but the base essentials. All right, he gets to start over with one cup, one sword, one wand, and one pentacle. Just the bare necessities. No baggage. It, he has no room for the baggage of the old cycle that would bog you down. Okay, and you're going forth in this Knight of Wands energy, this Leo energy, very uh, optimistic, with great fortitude and energy and power. You're empowered here. Okay, so but that's only if we can address this emotional lack here and let it go. All right. So we're going to get the theme deck. We're going to get maybe some advice here. Can we get some advice for the collective on this moon cycle, please? Remember, like I said, the moon only stays in each sign for about 2.5 days. So this might be just a fleeting energy, but it also might bleed into the future because the big players, the outer planets, which have longer influence because they take longer to go around, they are all kind of retrograde right now. There's a lot of bullshit going on with them outer planets, these generational um energies, so it might bleed out. Okay, what do we got? Okay, yeah, dumpster fire. It feels like a dumpster fire. Burn the garbage. Burn the garbage. Okay, and we have Archangel Michael, the protection. It says, call on me, I stand ready. So there is energy in the collective for you to call on that is protective. This says mercy, clarity, protection, justice, and cutting away negative energies. Okay, so there are plenty of prayers you can look up to pray to Archangel Michael for protection and help with cutting away negative energy. He does carry the sword of truth. So ask for that to come into your life and cut away things that are in the darkness that you might not be seeing. We've got the fortune cookie. That's great. Useful advice, encouragement, and small luck could be what's going on with Jupiter. Jupiter rules luck and opportunity. I'm not sure where he is right now, though. That's too many. Okay, tower, but it's just a storm warning. So this is a small tower, okay? The storm warning says there is upheaval and restructuring, cleansing away the old, but that not all storms come to disrupt your life. Some just come to clear away the path. Okay, so it's like, remember it says over here with dumpster fire to burn the garbage, so then the rain comes through and washes the garbage away, okay? Think of like a gutter. Okay, all the garbage is being washed away. We've got the rose, romance, possibly in the air, and we have the broom, clean environment, new attitude. So maybe in this moon cycle, you just give the main areas of the house kind of a wash through. Okay, redo your salt boundaries, recast your wards, all those things with this full moon. Clean environment is a new attitude. So we've got also, oh, there might be a third party involved somewhere. It says too many fingers in this pie. There may be too many energies in this situation that you have to keep that you have to take into consideration, okay? And that might be the blockage on you releasing the lack mindset. They actually might be the cause of that lack mindset, right? There's too many people whispering. There's too many people talking to you. There's too many people with their expectations on you, okay? And that might be what's blocking you from feeling supported, that lack mindset in the emotional arena, okay? So that's too many people are involved in what you're trying to build for yourself. But we also have the star card. In this version, it's the fairy godmothers. So this is blessings, healing, a wish, a new direction, renewal, and finding your way. I love the star card because, it's the North Star. It's where we point our desires and our dreams and wishes. And it's where our heart is telling us its home is. Okay, we get an opportunity to follow the star and find that. Now we have the bell. That's a divine call. Spirit is present. You might hear a bell. That's your little message from the universe. It's like time to take off. The time is right. The timer is up. You know, and we've got the hermit, solitude, introspection, withdrawal, addressing the higher self, and looking for inner guidance. To me, even though the hermit is Virgo energy, very earthy energy, this feels like it's addressing that King of Cups. The King of Cups here has to keep his own counsel on his emotions. And in order to do that, there has to be some deep introspection. So you have to withdraw, not take anybody else's opinions about this. And you're your best guide, okay? So when you go inward and you look for the answers to these questions that the moon is asking you to address about this emotional, what's the opposite of fulfillment? I'm drawing a blank on that word. Deficiency? You have to be really honest with what you see when you go within and address that within yourself, okay? So that's what I have for the moon reading. The daily energy reading for today didn't upload. I was having trouble with the file, but that's why there wasn't energy read this morning. But I'll get to that for tomorrow. And then what else do we have? Where are my papers? The next thing we have is the daily energy, and then what the Friday, a 5-card spread. Okay, so that's what I have for today, and until I see you again in the next reading. Okay, thanks, bye.